This is a Senior Bowl where, I mean, pretty much every one of the top guys except Matt Corral was out there practicing. And I'm telling you, Rich, there was a little bit of I don't know, I don't know if there's a single starter out here. There's a single NFL starter out here. So that, I think that sort of adds to the uncertainty of, is Russell Wilson going to be available? Is Aaron Rodgers going to be available? What's going to happen with Deshaun Watson? And so, last year, it felt like there was going to be this, land rush for quarterbacks. And I don't think it quite played out that way, and this year, because the draft class is not great at the position, I would say probably the worst since 2013 at the very least. I think that there's going to be more suitors out there looking for veteran quarterbacks, which could jack the market up for those who are available.
Okay, so let's take that part first then. What is the general sense of Rodgers being available? You hear that he's had great communication lines open with Green Bay that did not exist, certainly by this point last year, and not all the way up until training camp, I guess. And then you also hear he's buying land in Tennessee, so which would be a fascinating spot. We on this show talked about it earlier this week, thinking the Titans would be a terrific spot if, again, they want to move on from Tannehill and eat salary and what have you that might mean. What do you think of Rodgers, and what was the general sense of that over this past week? Right now?
I don't think anybody knows exactly what to expect with him. He's unpredictable, and I think there are two sides to it. The first side is I think the personal side, which his relationship is in a better place with a lot of people in that building, primarily the general manager, Brian Gutekunst, and that makes a big dip. That's a big deal. I also think, that if you listen to the way way he talked, and Rich, I know, you pay attention to this stuff. If you listen closely, to his words after he broke Brett Favre's record, listen to the appreciation for playing in Green Bay, the appreciation for being part of a historic franchise, the appreciation for getting to play his home games at Lambeau. He wasn't talking that way a year ago. And so, I think, on the personal side of it, his relationship with people in the organization and his relationship with, I think the fan base and that place in general is in a much better place than it was a year ago. And that's a plus. The second part is the professional part of it. And the Packers really did go all in this year and did operate in a different way. And for as much talk as there was about the Packers being conservative, they weren't this year. They mortgaged contracts. They took swings on guys like Randall Cobb and Whitney Merciless and Jalen Smith over the course of the year. And that's put them in a spot now where their cap is an issue. Aaron Rodgers is going into a contract year. So if you're the team, you don't want to let him go into a contract year and then risk losing him for nothing on the other end. You'd like to get him to sign an extension if you're going to go into the season with him as your quarterback. And then there are some aging pieces on the roster. And so that part of it, where they were in such a good spot going into last year, this year there are some challenges that didn't exist. And so that's what's going to be fascinating about this is how do you reconcile all of it? The personal is in a better place than it was last year. The professional might not be in quite as good a place. I think it's unpredictable right now. I know they've met and they've talked, and that obviously I think the communication is way better than it was a year ago. But obviously that's a big domino that everybody's waiting on. And if he does become available, then I think, we're going to be hearing about some of the same teams we did a year ago. And obviously I think at the top of the list would be the Denver Broncos. But a team like the Titans that didn't have their hat in the ring last year, I think a team like that, there are teams like that I think are going to kind of come out of the woodwork as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about Russ? Because I guess by this point in time, Albert Breer, there's going to be no change in Seattle, right? I mean, it's
Right.
Pete Carroll's under contract for a very long time, and John Schneider. I mean, they haven't made any moves, so I know that the whole conversation is nobody knows what's in the mind of Jody Allen, but I guess we do know. Stay the course, and the question is Russ cool with that? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah,
right
and
now?
he wasn't happy last. The thing is, like, he wasn't happy last year, and that was coming out of a 12-4 year, and they won the division.
Right.
And I mean, like, this looks like a team. Like, I said the Packers need some retooling because of the cap, but the Packers are still a very, very talented roster with a lot of really good players on it. I don't know, Rich. Can you say the same thing about Seattle right now?
Right.
I mean, and that's the thing is, so if last year was a page turner for Russell Wilson, as far as this is going to be the second half, I'm kicking off the second half of my career, and I want to put myself in position to wear a gold jacket, and I want to be all pro, and I want to be on the Super Bowl stage. Like, can he trust that the team's going to be able to get them there fast enough? And is it best for the Seahawks to go forward with Russell Wilson either? I mean, look, they've got 2 first-round picks. They need to rebuild the roster to some degree. Or they don't have any first-round picks. I'm sorry. I did the opposite of that. But they don't have a first-round pick. They need to rebuild the roster. They've got one piece in the roster that could bring back a lot. I think Jody Allen's, role in it's interesting just because I do know that there's a feeling there that she wants Russell to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, if you look at it, like, what's best for Russell, what's best for the Seahawks, I sort of do think this thing has reached its natural conclusion. So, we'll see what happens, but it does at least feel to me like maybe the best thing for everybody is this is the time when you pursue a divorce. We'll see what happens.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.